everybody, and welcome to this session of Star Trek Continuing Mission, our 2D20 Modiphius campaign set in the Shackleton Expanse and aboard the USS Athena, a Springfield-class Federation cruiser that takes place during the next-gen timeline. Let's go around and meet everybody, and then we will get into this, our downtime episode. We have had a lot of shenanigans, a lot of high adventure here in open space. It is time to figure out exactly what makes Trekkie Treks and Starry Stars, because we had the action, we had all of this, but that's, as I told the crew and the players here, that's not the essence of Star Trek. And Jim, you said it in chat, the downtime episodes, or where they're figuring out problems or putting things together or making a plan, that's Trek. That's where you see the characters. Cannot wait for this. Really, really looking forward to it. Let's go around and talk to everybody, and we'll start with the captain. Captain, how are you doing?
I am doing great. None of us are suspicious about this downtime episode at all. I know it's going to be really chill. I'm really excited to talk. All of us talk, be in the same place for the first time in a hot second. Yeah, I'm just doing really, really good. I'm playing Captain Elsie Locke.
Fantastic, fantastic. And as the Captain Elsie Locke gives way to our science officer, Hawk, how are you doing this fine evening, my friend?
I'm doing fine. Jabez is a little stressed and worn out after a very hectic but successful away mission. So otherwise, he's looking forward to getting a little R&R in before the big debriefing.
We shall see as we jump from science to engineering. Chief, how are you doing today?
Hey, everybody. Hey, Greg. It's Allison. I play Lieutenant Kander Quinn, Chief Engineer. And she is, at this point, just hoping that this rust bucket holds together long enough to actually have this big meeting.
It's 50-50 as it stands right now.
Pretty much.
Everything's fine. And as we go from engineering over to the con and our pilot, the Ferengi Soba, my friend, how are you doing, Stephen?
I'm doing well. How is everybody? It's great to be back. I'm very excited. We'll see what happens. So thanks.
Alrighty. And as we leave our Ferengi pilot, we jump to the captain of the Artemis, Lieutenant Commander Nat Nealon. Lauren, how are you?
Hi, Greg. I'm great. Super stoked to be back here in the Star Trek universe. I'm Lauren. I'm that salty ginger over on Twitter. I'm not suspicious at all. I played Lieutenant Commander Natalia Nealon. She's half Betazoid, half Tellarite, and she's constantly pissed off, much like myself. Back to you, Greg.
Thank you for that genuine enthusiasm here for our show this evening. So, to bring everybody up to speed, I don't want to recap everything that has happened to this point, because this is essentially a standalone episode. Anything that's happened before, you'll pretty much be brought up to speed with what exactly it is, but there are a lot of moving parts. Essentially, our ship, the USS Athena, has been stuck, marooned inside a vast nebula and galaxy system called the Shackleton Expanse. It's much like a Bermuda Triangle of the Star Trek universe. They cannot leave. Their sister ship, the USS Artemis, entered roughly the same time that they did. However, they've been here much, much longer. Time is not a friend of yours in the Shackleton Expanse. They have figured out about ancient technologies, a way to manipulate a black hole. They have saved a Class M planet that is a pre-warp society. They have fought Klingon cruisers and come to some type of accord, at least a temporary peace with them, a peace that will require a face-to-face meeting at some point. Excuse me. And they also have a prisoner in their sickbay at this time who is none other than the reincarnated Khan Noonien Singh, a person that had taken control of the USS Artemis during the time overlap, or the place in time where the Artemis existed and the Athena did not. But that's basically where it is. The crew needs to figure out what they know. They need to figure out how this information is going to help them get back to the Federation, get back to Starfleet, get back to normal space. Theories, it's a time for those. Sharing, it's a time for those, or time for that. but it's also a time to figure out who's on whose side. Or not. At this point, I will hand it over to the crew. I have no agenda for this. I will simply tell you that it is 3 p.m. ship standard time. Shift 1 has just let out, and Shift 2 sees all of you with a covered position, meaning you do not have to be on the bridge if you are a bridge crew. You do not have to be in engineering if you are the chief engineer. Your position is being filled right now because senior staff and the people that were involved in the away mission need to be free to attend a meeting at 8 p.m. ship standard time. But that's 5 hours from now. And so, with the crew finally back on board the USS Athena, the USS Athena herself floating in a dense nebula, sort of hiding in the bush inside the forest that is the Shackleton Expanse, I will turn now to my players, the crew of this Springfield-class vessel, and ask them, what do we do?
I'll go. Oh, unless you want to go.
Oh, you go ahead, Captain.
You go ahead. I insist.
Okay.
He's so
All right.
accommodating.
Malachi decides to take some time to go to one of the holo suites to unwind for a little bit.
You have 2 available to you. Both are open.
All right. I go to the closest one I see when I walk in. Make sure the doors are securely closed behind me, and I go to computer and say, computer, open profile NNHF, run NNHF files, please access those, run scenario 39, the Savoy, New York, 1938. And as I say that, the famous Grand Ballroom shows up. Let's see. Let's have Glenn Miller Band. And Glenn Miller and the boys are up playing, and I walk to the center of the ballroom. And waiting there for me is a lovely lady in a full resplendent emerald green ballroom gown. Nothing too flashy or showing of stuff and all that, but just very, very classy for the time period and all that. And I snap my fingers and a string of pearls starts to play, and as the music starts up, we start doing a foxtrot across the dance floor. Eyes focused in just on my dance partner as we go around. The precision of hitting the moves helping me to put everything else out of my mind and perspective and just focus on the dance, the music, and the dancer. The music goes throughout. Music keeps on playing. I see nothing else but the dance floor and my dance partner. Then, okay, go ahead. You want to say something?
I was going to say that's fantastic. My question is, the dancing, who is it from? Malachi or Jabez, or both?
Actually, well, Jabez has taught Malachi. Actually, the dance steps are from one of my previous hosts, Misha Jabez, who was in his younger days before he joined Starfleet, was a professional ballroom dancer, professional ancient ballroom dancer. And then the music slowly fades. Go into the dip, slowly bring her up, spin her up and away. And then as the music stops, I look her directly in the eyes, do a slight bow, and say, "Thank you, Nat, once again, for a very lovely dance."
Nat is in
the lights show that it is Nat Nealon in the emerald ballroom gown.
Okay. Nat looks at you like she normally does when you end one of these dances, but there is something missing from the eyes. There is an absence. It's not a soul or anything like that. It's a spark. It's an element. You can write software codes. There is science that explains the mixtures and the compounds that create the universe, but there is no way to replicate, at least exactly, the psychological and physical characteristics into a photon program. But when you look at it, you are reminded of something, Malachi, that there is a way to access the personnel files and upload them using your Starfleet credentials into this program. And with that vacant look that Nat gives you, she appears happy. She's enjoyed herself, slightly out of breath, but it's not Nat. But that always is in your mind, or both of your minds, that there is a way for this to be Nat.
And as I look into her eyes, I realize that yet again resists the temptation to load her in and say, until next time, my fair lady, my beloved. We'll be again, and next time, and I go into a quick flamenco stomp and act like I'm swirling the cape. Next time, the Paso Doble. And then I walk off to the exit singing Cellophane, Mr. Cellophane, should have been my name. Mr. Cellophane, you can see right through me, walk right by me,
and as
not even know who I'm there.
And with that, not even know that I'm there, as you walk out of the arch and pass. For a moment, when the doors close, the Savoy stays there, and Nat, your Nat, inside the ballroom, proceeds to curtsy a bit, and as she stands back up, the vacant expression is the last thing to dematerialize.
Then I head back to my quarters and prepare for the debriefing.
Fantastic, my friend. Who's up next? You can. This isn't just a once around the horn either. You can do multiple things. You don't have a one shot here where you have to. Yeah. We have plenty of time to.
None of us want to follow that up. What are you talking about? I think we should just end the episode, honestly.
Okay, we'll see y'all later.
Good downtime. Bye, everybody.
I'll do a personal log. Why not?
Oh yeah, personal log for Soba. Go right ahead, my friend.
So buckle up here. All right. So he puts in personal log. Ensign Soba. Star day. Who cares? We are stuck in this shithole of an expanse. After 3 days, we have continually been attacked. I've just come back from a nightmare, a literal nightmare of a sphere that they expect us to. I don't even know what they expect. They sent 4 of us down there and we almost perished. No thanks to my heroic efforts, I would say. Yes, that would probably be it. I grow very weary of Starfleet. They have wasted my talents. I am probably, if not the best pilot in the galaxy, maybe second or third, I would say first. I should be on a flagship like the Enterprise or the secret projects they have coming up. They should have me as a pilot. But no, I'm stuck in the shithole expanse, as I call it. I do like the crew, however. They are fine, I suppose. The captain, she is very respectable and quite beautiful. Though I would doubt she would mate with me. But, Acquisition 113, always sleep with the boss. However, Lieutenant Commander Nealon, she is by the book and always looking for a mystery. Mystery. I would like to say to her, take a sip of soba. You might enjoy yourself a little bit. So, and then there is Lieutenant Quinn. She runs around at this piece of shit ship that she tries to fix every 2 seconds. I want to be like, hey, Commander or Lieutenant, stop fixing the ship. Come and fix into my room. But, however, and then there's Lieutenant Jabez. He's a good guy. I actually started to like him. But when he talks about science stuff, it's like, that's about it about him. He's pretty good, I guess. And then there's the dimwit doctor who thinks he's going to run the ship. And then there's, and then Revo. Yeah, that he's about 2 bulbs short of a brain cell, but he's a pretty heroic guy. I kind of think we could get along pretty well. The only bright spot in the Shackleton shithole expanse is I've met the Q. I'm the Optim Q, in case he's listening. He's given me a wish, and I just sit here and dream all day. Lord Soba. No. King Soba. No. Emperor Soba. That sounds about right. And I would rule the Siberian fleet. And I'd have 8 planets. Siberia 1, Siberia 2, Siberia... He'd probably make us some shithole planet, though, that I'd have to sit there and shovel dung all day or something, or look at Zorbaks, or fly around, or who knows what. However, I suppose that I'll continue doing my duties until we get out of here, and I will try to go on every away mission I can to steal as much loot and as much lithium and whatever dilithium and dilithium and trilithium that my little lobes can get their hands on. I prepare for this meeting, I guess. I don't even know what I'm going to say. I'll just sit there and they'll look at me. And so depressing. Anywho, computer, pass lock. Rough Riding Ferengi 69. Thank you.
Log pass locked. Rough Riding Ferengi 69.
So one of my favorite parts about Star Trek is how progressive it is and how much humanity and all of the species have evolved, and it's what I really love about it.
I do too, and then I remember that there are still the Ferengi. To remind us that there's always a long way to go.
I think the problem just might be there are still men, but I think we can fix that in future iterations.
How? Well, it's a fair point. Alrighty, so as this log is logged, albeit with a pass lock.
Yeah, right.
What would anyone else like to do?
Something useful?
Sure.
Captain?
Oh, yeah, now's a good time.
Just want to figure out
I'm just
stuff.
thinking about lobes with hands, you know.
I'm thinking about little tiny lobes.
Tiny lobes
Little
with
tiny
hands.
little lobes.
Yeah, I think that
Paper's
now's a good
gonna
time. Now's a really good time to get serious, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Let's do it. Let's be helpful. Let's be useful members of society. Okay. Yeah, so you just got off first shift. Ready room?
I love a good ready room scene.
I feel like we would have talked about this when you got back, that we were going to meet up when you got off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great.
Let's do it. I'll be chilling waiting for you.
Yeah. Set the scene for me though, Summer.
I'm really relaxed.
Yeah.
I'm reclined out. No, I'm sitting at my desk. It's totally formal. I have water. Do you need any water?
Yes. We need like a spray hose, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I go to meet the captain.
Yeah. I think that she's got like she's basically, I think she has like this weird notebook that she keeps where she like writes down a bunch of random shit so she doesn't forget. And she is just like writing so much in it when you come into the room.
Nat's very, I like to imagine that the door's already open so it doesn't make that annoying sound that announces your presence.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whoosh. And she just stands there for a while, very quietly, because that's just how she moves. And she just waits for you to look up. So she's probably standing there a good minute or so.
Yeah, I think eventually she just kind of puts down her pen and looks up at you. Like, she's not surprised. I feel like she realized you were there earlier, but she just didn't say anything. You can come in.
I am technically in.
You can come all the way in and shut the door.
She does so.
Do you sit down?
No.
Oh, God. She just kind of like gestures to the chair, like, please, don't
Okay.
stand there.
Okay, she'll sit then.
Can I get you anything to drink?
No, I'm fine.
She pours herself a glass of water and sips it for a moment and then looks at you. So, where do we start? Probably
Well,
with our current resident in the sick bay, I would say.
yes, between him and the Klingons, it's difficult to ascertain which is the more pressing matter.
They were after him.
It seems so. I don't know if they were after him when they first appeared outside of the Expanse, or if that's a newer development.
He might have made some people angry since he's been here.
He does that.
So, I'm sure there are a lot of things that we could consider doing.
They think he's dead.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Neither do I.
They've given us some time, so maybe it's good for now that they continue to think he's dead, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait until you speak with them.
I was thinking about that, ma'am. Maybe you should speak to them.
If that would make you more comfortable, then
I'm not uncomfortable.
they believe, I think, that you killed Khan, and that's why they've given you any time at all.
It's a believable cover story to some.
They might attack outright if somebody were to come in your stead. I think it's dangerous if we went together, but that is also an option. If we're in the same place, that is.
You really could have used a first officer before we left.
It didn't seem pressing at the time. Of course, if you'd be interested in the position.
Who did you have in mind to captain the Artemis then, ma'am?
Well, I've had a couple of ideas about that. I think that Khan is too dangerous to keep on the Athena.
I concur.
I think he's too dangerous to keep here as a prisoner or as a free man. I don't like the idea of using him as a bargaining chip, though, with the Klingon. If
No, that
we
will
were
go very
to.
wrong. That will go very, very wrong.
And we can't exactly just launch him into space.
No, we can't.
I don't know what kind of support that he's gained on the Artemis, if any. Maybe none. But if there are those that would support him, whatever we do might cause issues with them, and I don't want that for them after all they've been through. So I was thinking, whenever he gets up, we offer him the Artemis. We say that any crew that wants to stay with him can. The rest can come over to the Athena. Of course, if he ever left the Expanse, we would have to arrest him. But if he stays here, stays out of our way, doesn't pretend to be Starfleet, maybe he wouldn't be a problem.
Nat smiles for the first time. I don't know if the captain's seen her smile.
I don't think so.
It's like a sunbeam breaking through the clouds. It's also really strange. You know when Wednesday Addams smiles in the Addams Family Values?
Yeah.
It's freaky. I think we should make the offer to his crew before he wakes up. But I like this idea. And I think it's unexpected.
He wouldn't feel trapped by us, I would hope.
Or threatened.
And of course, he might not take the offer because, as far as I know, he was pretty desperate to get back.
I would like to find out why. But I don't know if that's worth the risk of keeping him around any longer than is necessary.
So we'll talk to the crew of the Artemis, see what they think, then offer it to him and go from there.
I would just really love to volunteer to be there when we do this.
Of course.
Great.
There is the matter of what happened when we were somewhere else.
Yes, Detalk, the Romulan friend. He mentioned something about supposed to be staying when you were. I think wherever we were was out of time, perhaps. Unfortunately, maybe the future if we were actually on the Athena. I don't know how. I think it has something to do with the triangle and his ability to manipulate time. And I'm not sure how we get the rest of our crew back.
We made it back. Chief Lon said that he was going to look in to see if he could find the others. I'm not sure if he was successful. We have no way of knowing. But he did manage to get at least one message through to me, enough to call me down to him. So maybe we keep trying the way that he was. Just keep trying to reach out. And of course, we do have this. And she, it's probably sitting off to the side on the desk, the triangle.
Right.
Yeah. We could see what Jabez thinks about it.
And Evo, after we chat with her about other things.
She's been through a lot. I'm afraid to put more on her. We don't know what the breaking point will be.
No, people tend to think that Betazoids are compromised by their heightened sensitivity, but I've found quite the opposite usually. They're pretty resilient.
Well, if you can get a good read on her, I would trust your opinion.
I'd be interested in sending Ensign Soba to get a read on her.
Can I ask why?
Betazoids can't read Ferengi. So she won't be picking up any suspicions about someone watching her, distrusting her.
I'm not sure that would be the most tactical decision. Given
It's
his people
a
skills.
Well, it's a tactic.
I don't think it can do any harm other than annoying her, maybe.
That's what I was thinking too.
But we can always keep tabs on the situation and call him away need be.
She smiles for a reason that she doesn't share. And stands up.
You'll think about it, right?
Mm-hmm. Who would replace me at tactical?
I would take your first recommendation. Do you have someone in mind?
Well, I'll have to make sure he can
Walk?
snark. If he's had the snark beat out of him, I have little hope.
Well, if you'd like to check on him and see how he's doing.
I hesitated the last time that offer was up for me. And I regretted it. Just so you know, I can be very, what is the word that I'm looking for? Taciturn?
I know we haven't been together long, but trust me, I know what I'm getting into.
Then I accept.
Even knowing that it's likely to be temporary if we make it back home, as we should have been decommissioned 2.5 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Though it's classified, I've dealt with chronological oddities before, and I haven't given up on getting back to both where and when we need to be.
We'll do our best, at the least. Just let me know what you'd like to do about the meeting.
I have a very long list, ma'am.
Good.
And she heads out to go to sickbay.
Okay. So as the door does not shh behind you, it remains. Oh no, you guys did close it, so it does shh. The two of you are separated once again. Lieutenant Quinn, we've heard from everyone else. The dancing, the plotting, the continued plotting. What is the chief engineer up to?
Quinn ends her shift with a quick pass off to Desatek, pats him on the shoulder, checks in on the location of Chief Berhanu. Not quite ready yet, but we'll make a point of looking in on her before this shift is over. She heads back to her quarters, takes off her engineering coveralls, takes a quick shower, gets back in uniform, and the first thing she does for about the first 45 minutes or so of this off shift is she is kind of sitting at her desk, and then she stands up. She paces a little bit. She's clearly riled up about something. She says, "Computer, take a letter for..." No. Computer, cancel. She sits back down at her desk. She picks up a pad and a stylus, and she begins writing on the pad. And as the camera zooms around her shoulder, we see that she's writing a letter to a member of the engineering team that was killed in the recent attack, writing a letter to this person's loved ones, as is customary for leaders and commanders have done for thousands of years on Earth. After she writes a couple of letters, she puts the pad aside, kind of stretches, walks over to the replicator, and asks for a hot chai, and then she kind of pulls down on her uniform tunic. Computer, activate bridge officer's exam prep program, Quinn Alpha 5.
Before you can even finish this request, and there's a chirp in the middle of it as your voice is interrupted, much like if you talk to a specific Amazon device and get interrupted, it doesn't understand what you're saying. And there is a bing at your door.
She kind of brushes her hair back, pulls her tunic down one more time. Enter.
The door swishes open, and man walks in. Tell me all about it. The chair, tell me about it. And he goes over and sits down at your desk. 14 minutes, 16 seconds. It's a long time to be in a chair facing Klingons.
It felt like forever. But it felt so good. Yeah, it felt really good.
What do you remember most about it?
I remember the sound of the red alert klaxons in my ears. God, the bridge smelled like vomit. But you know what I remember, Captain? I remember the focus. It was like I was aware of every little thing that was happening on that bridge and everything that was happening in the ship and in space around us. I just felt like I was alive.
Oh, Lieutenant, it's been a long road, but I think your time is finally here.
I don't know about that, Captain Archer. I mean, youngest chief engineer in Starfleet and all. It's going to be a while.
Well, you have to remember, though, when you remember the smell of vomit and the klaxons that go off, that you... Back in Rome, and I'm sure you've heard this, I'm sure I've told you, whenever a general would return from a great victory, a triumph, a slave was put into the chariot with them to whisper, "You are mortal." My teacher told me that before I took the chair, and though I don't believe that I was looking at it quite the same way as the Roman generals, where victory and bloodshed was to be assumed, you have to remember that you're not always going to be right. This time, for 14 minutes and 16 seconds, you were right. But you need to prepare yourself from when that 1 second comes that you're not right.
Yeah, I know you're right, sir. So what's the lesson today?
The lesson? I can't teach the chair. You've had your lesson today, Lieutenant. Sitting in that chair is the beginning of a whole new class. It's strange when you begin the bridge officers training, they want you to know everything, but the only real way for you to learn it is to be in the chair, which is ironic. Lieutenant, I don't want you to feel like I'm being, well, I'm not condescending you, but I am very proud. I've reviewed the log. It's a fantastic job.
Thank you, sir. That means a lot to me.
"14 minutes and 16 seconds. "2 minutes, 11 seconds. First time I sat in the chair.
When was that, sir?
Took the Susquehanna out of dry dock. 2 minutes and 11 seconds.
Wow.
No Klingons. But I do believe I smelled vomit too.
Well, sir, I have a question for you.
Of course.
I wrote some letters, and she reaches back to her desk and pulls up the pad. I've never really had to do this before. These are to the families of some of the people that we lost in engineering. I know Captain Locke is busy with other things. I wonder if, could you take a look at these and just let me know what you think?
Of course. And he takes the pad from you and begins to look through slowly, flipping a page, really taking his time as he looks at each one, and even going so far as to kind of tap the page with his right forefinger when he gets to a particular part. Finally, he looks up. How long did it take you to write all of these?
Hour, I guess.
74 minutes and 16 seconds in the chair today. You hear a scratching, only way to describe it, at the door to your room.
Enter?
Shh. The door opens and a small dog runs in, and Captain Jonathan Archer leans down. "Porthos! Where did you get to? What do you smell like? What have you been into?" And Then he drops the dog to the floor as it just kind of circles around a bit. Finally sitting down, and with a very knowledgeable gaze, looks between you and Captain Archer.
Back on my desk, as I look back, a plate of little cubes of cheese has appeared holographically on the desk, and hey, Porthos, who's a good boy? Come here. And I reach back and toss him a piece of cheese. He jumps up and catches it in the air.
Just snaps it right out of the air, and by the time he lands, he isn't even chewing. It's just gone.
Sorry, Captain. I know. I know what you're in for. A couple of hours from now, but
I know. I do the same thing. It makes him happy in the moment, and me unhappy in the later moments. I have a question for you, Lieutenant.
Sir?
I'm having trouble accessing Starfleet. I can't seem to... I have my notes and my recommendations and my suggestions and findings for everything that we've gone over, and haven't been able to upload for quite some time. Are we experiencing some communication problems, or is there anything I can help with?
I don't know, Captain. We're in a area of space that's called the Shackleton Expanse.
Shackleton.
Yeah, ominous. So we've been out of communication with Starfleet for some time. To our knowledge, outside of the Artemis, we're the only Starfleet ship here. I suppose you could send those recommendations to Captain Locke. I'm sure she'll be interested to have them, but I wonder, you'll forgive me if my memory of some of my history of space exploration classes from the Academy is a little blurry right now. I wonder if you and the crew of the Enterprise ever experienced anything quite like this. There's something that's been scratching at the back of my mind for a while, but yeah, maybe I'm just making it up.
I'll look into that for you. See what I can come up with. Maybe I'll provide you with some notes. And
that would be helpful.
Quinn, you would know that this is the usual response when you would ask anything of Archer that may or may not be classified. I'll definitely get back to you on that, Lieutenant.
Please do, sir. And a lot of lives might be riding on that information.
I'll make sure you get it as soon as I can, and make sure we continue our meetings. It's more important now than ever before, Lieutenant. If we are alone out here, we're still Starfleet.
Yes, sir. And we always will be.
He reaches down and Porthos jumps up into his arms as he walks over to the door, activates it, and it slides open, and he turns back around. He doesn't look at you, but he looks over his shoulder. 74 minutes, 16 seconds. Whew. Sure as hell beats 2 minutes, 11 seconds. And he taps the side of the frame and exits into the hall, and the door closes behind him.
Quinn takes a deep breath and she walks over to her bed, kind of props a couple of pillows up against the hull of the ship, and kind of settles in with the pad. She calls up some of the records of the battle and of those few minutes and begins going over them, taking some notes to take back to her tutor the next time that she sees him.
And as you're looking through the notes that are part of your personal recordings of the incident, part of the reports that you would file, and you see that there are already notes in there, notes that are essentially copies that are allowed to be seen by the officer in training. And you see that Jonathan Archer has recommended and promoted your suggestions and your actions at the highest level, but always, however it makes you feel, it doesn't just say Captain Jonathan Archer, it says Captain Jonathan Archer, Bridge Officers Exam Training Program.
So she'll spend the next hour or so going over these things before heading up to Olympus to grab something to eat and see who's around.
Okie dokie. And thank you very much for the sub that just came in. Brillin, I appreciate it very much. We all do. And as Lieutenant Candor Quinn finishes this scene, I will ask someone else, is there any more scenes that you would like to have? I know that we had somebody on the way to Medbay, but I don't know what the Ferengi's doing, and I don't know what our science officer is doing, so please, let me know.
Science officer says computer, location, Lieutenant Junior Grade Gentile.
Lieutenant Junior Grade Gentile is on the bridge.
And he heads to the bridge. He hasn't had a chance to meet up with her since getting back on the shuttle, and he wants to get a quick debriefing from her on things.
As you ride the turbo lift up to the bridge, it opens, and as it opens, the chair turns just a bit as Gentile is sitting in the chair.
So, how's the big chair feel?
She stands up quickly. Lieutenant, I was told that we were pressed for second shift.
You're fine. This is not a. I'm not here to take on duty. This is just to visit, and I wanted to follow up with you, see how I hadn't had a chance to speak with you since getting back from the away mission.
The bridge is alive with activity as people are kind of helping one another read off damage reports. They're in constant communication with engineering. You can hear Tasatek's voice, their voice kind of bumping through as, Olivia's kind of relaying community. It's just a hub of information. But for a second, you think it all quiets just a bit as everyone starts to kind of listen to hear what's going on. And you see red creep up Gentile's throat as she's, Lieutenant, I'm very glad your mission was successful.
Thank you. Anything that I need to know of before I go to my meeting with the captain and the rest of the senior officers?
I'm gonna ask for a roll here. I want an insight and command for this.
Okay.
With one success, that's all you needed, because Gentile, she desperately needs to tell you something, but she cannot do it here.
Okay.
Her eyes kind of widen a bit, like she's trying to verbally communicate to you, or non-verbally communicate to you, what she needs to.
I tell her, join me in the captain's ready room.
She looks around, and everyone goes back to that kind of clustered talking, and she says, Benzite, you have the con. and the Andorian's antennae stick straight up as he looks over from the pilot's station and immediately swings that station away from him, goes over and spins with a flourish, sits down and crosses his legs in the chair. As soon as you get, there's that little hall that leads off of into near the ready room. As soon as you get to the outside, she grabs you and hugs you.
I return the hug in a friendly, familiar father figure type of manner.
She holds you and basically squeezes you, and then you hear her whisper into your ear, "I broke the chain of command. Dr. Alcott was supposed to take over. I went to Lieutenant Quinn."
What other circumstances were involved?
She again whispers into your ear, "I didn't want the ship to explode."
You acted in the best interest of the ship and the crew? In your opinion, in your viewpoint, as a Starfleet officer?
Believe so.
Then you have nothing to worry about from my end. Sometimes things have to be done. What is my primary rule with the science team? The 3 ways to think. You got to think inside the box for policy, think outside the box for new ideas, and sometimes you just have to take the box and throw it down the Jeffries tube.
I did that. I did 3.
And sometimes choice number 3 is the hardest one to make, but most of the time it's the right one.
She pulls back before anybody can enter the hallway, especially the captain, whose ready room is like 10 feet away with the door open. And she pulls back and she just kind of holds your hand for a second as she pulls away, and she straightens her outfit as she looks up at you. "I'm glad you made it back. You kept your promise."
Yeah. I always try to. We'll go in more depth in things later on. But for now, I believe there's a chair with your name on it.
Thank you. I better hurry up or I'll be a hypocrite because I will have put the ship in Benzite's hands. And she goes back and disappears back into the bridge.
That's my girl.
All right. Soba, did you have anything you wanted to do, my friend?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to sickbay.
Okay.
Get in line.
We're all going to sick bay.
We're all going
Pick a
to
number.
damn sick bay.
Okay, that we can do.
I'm not.
We can do this. I don't think. Yeah.
I'm also not going to sickbay.
I'm not going straight to sick bay.
I am also not going to say.
Lieutenant Quinn, I'll join you at
Yeah,
Olympus.
you know what? All right, I'll go to Olympus. I'll go to the bar. Why not? I could care less.
Oh, good. You're doing our plan without us telling you about
That's
it.
amazing. God, you're so intuitive, Steve.
God. Okay. you
Intersect
fucking go
him,
there.
Lauren.
Let me get away.
I'm gonna pass by Olympus on the way to sick bay so I can tell Soba something.
We'll have you run together. Listen, this is much like Grey's Anatomy, where everything
God.
happens in the elevator
God.
or the stairs.
Perfect.
So
I love it.
You
Walk
run,
and talk.
You run together. Yes, you run together in the hallway. So Soba and Lieutenant Commander Nealon, you are now have runneth togethereth in the halls of the Athena.
Ensign,
Lieutenant Commander, how are you?
Spiffy.
Spiffy? What is spiffy?
It's an ancient Betazoid term. I have an assignment for you.
Okay, what is your assignment? Anything for you?
You're getting nothing from him.
I know.
Yes,
I
Lieutenant
said
Commander.
it. I brought it into play. I know. I would like you to
Like
keep
me to what?
I would like you to keep our guest from the Artemis Company. I do not mean Mr. Noonien Singh.
I do not know who that is. So you are talking about Evo, I assume.
She doesn't face palm. I do not know.
Nor do I care. No, you can't say that. You cannot say that out loud.
I know.
You want me to watch? She's lieutenant. Is she lieutenant? I'm assuming she's lieutenant. Lieutenant.
Mhm.
I
like you to.
He kind of puffs his chest out like he's getting some big important assignment.
I'd like you to just. She's been through a lot, so I would like you.
He's like he starts tapping his nose. I understand completely.
No, I don't know that you do, so I'm really gonna explain it. I would like you to be a friend to her.
Oh, okay. I understand completely.
Do you?
Yes, of course. I will befriend her. I will gain her confidence.
Yeah, but
Yes, gain her confidence.
Yeah, just. Oh God.
Would you like me to maybe try to get information from her?
No.
Just befriend her and listen with my lobes.
Yes, sure. Just act natural.
Listen, rule of acquisition 89. Always listen first. And he starts tapping his nose. Completely understand, Lieutenant Commander.
Matt thinks he's like making a reference to her nose, and she's really confused and kind of ticked off for no reason.
Do not be mad, Lieutenant.
I'm not. This is my happy
I will
face.
be completely a gentleman. And he smiles with his little sharp teeth at her.
Fantastic.
Where are you going, Lieutenant Commander?
I'm going to check in on our personnel in sick bay.
Oh. Well, tell the doctor I said hi and he did a great job as acting captain.
Are you talking about Dr. Alcott?
Yes, I thought he did a fine job. He was a little here and there, maybe, but yeah, can't win them all, right?
Some people can, I assume.
Yes. Well, I'm assuming, where is Lieutenant Evo?
I'd try Olympus.
Olympus, that's where she's at. Okay. Computer, where is Lieutenant Evo?
Lieutenant Varilla Evo is currently in Olympus.
I'll go check on her and make sure she's just spiffy. And smiles.
Dismissed.
You have a great day, Lieutenant Commander. Yeah,
Yep.
He kind of runs by her.
Okay, so
This was a mistake.
I love it so much.
It's great.
all right, so let's do this. Who do we have going to sick bay still? We have Captain and Lieutenant Commander, correct?
I'm going by the bridge first. So
okay, well let's follow Captain Locke then. You make it to the bridge. In fact, you would probably pass by Lieutenant Jabez, who was walking past away from the, you leave your ready room and there's Jabez kind of walking.
standing right outside.
Right.
Yeah, she's just like, Lieutenant, as she passes him. And she's going to talk to Olivia.
As you walk in, the bridge is a hubbub of basically communication. People, just like I said before, reading off certain percentages and power relays and readouts.
Mm-hmm.
And is that working? Nope. I still don't have anything. As people are kind of following through on Lieutenant Quinn's repair orders and things that are coming from engineering into SATEC and things like that. So it's loud, but Olivia's able to kind of mute everybody and look up. Yes, Captain.
I need you to do me a favor. This is going to take highest priority.
Yes, Captain.
It's a bit odd.
Yes, Captain.
I need you to continuously page Chief Lon. Computer's going to tell you that he's not aboard the Athena. I also need you to continuously page Transporter Room 1 and Shuttle Bay 1.
Continuously page. I I can put on a loop for someone there to call us, but Shuttle Bay 1's decompressed and... Sure, absolute, yes, Captain. What should I be looking for? What should I alert you of if I...
We're waiting for somebody to answer. Any answer at all. You don't need to respond right away. Just call me immediately if you do get an answer.
Yes, Captain. And you see her begin to program and automate. You can see her readout clearly because she faces it and you're behind her. You see her program in a response directly to the communicator of Chief Lon, and he is registered as deceased, and you watch as she overrides that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yes, Captain. Of course. I'll let you know as soon as I... And she stares down, and you see her kind of strike the deceased again as she continually does it. As soon as I hear anything.
Yeah, she kind of pats her on the shoulder and turns to go to sick bay.
Okay. Let's first go to Olympus, since we're going to have two people in sick bay. So let's go to Olympus. And for everybody that's wondering, a Springfield class is very similar, only smaller than a Galaxy class, which was the Enterprise from Next Generation. The Enterprise had a nice recreational area called 10 Forward, where Guinan, played by Whoopi Goldberg, was the bartender. Here, they also have a smaller version of 10 Forward. However, on the Athena, this recreational area is called Olympus. The bartender in Olympus is an Orion by the name of Zeus. Soba, you walk in and...
Hey, Callahan.
You walk in and the Olympus area and crowd is pretty dead this time of day. You see just kind of wiping the bar down that doesn't need to be wiped down. Zeus, his long kind of white beard and gray skin, he looks over. Hey.
Hey, Zeus. Like Soba's probably spends a lot of time sitting at the bar because he literally probably has no friends. So he probably sits there and would drink with Zeus and talk with Zeus. Somebody that is forced to listen to him, basically.
As soon as you would walk in, though, you would notice that one table almost in the very center of the room, its light is on, and there are data pads kind of stacked around, and you see Lieutenant Virilla Evo sitting there, and she has a maybe half-empty bottle in front of her.
Ooh, okay. Insight check that she would want to be have company.
Roll me an insight and a...
Does she have headphones in? Is she reading a book?
Oh my God.
She want to be...
Don't you dare yank those headphones out.
If those headphones are in, you stay away.
Walk away.
Disobey orders.
You guys let me handle this.
Absolutely not.
She is not, because I'm not getting anywhere that awful article and situation. She does not have headphones in, and when you walk in, she looks over at the Ferengi and says, Soba!
And he a big smile comes across his face. So all he need to do an insight check. He says, Zeus, drinks over here, please.
Zeus leans forward, and he's a big Orion. As he leans over the bar, he says
or I could get that myself.
No, I was pulling myself into your confidence. She's drinking the real stuff, Soba. It's expensive.
Ooh. Well, I'll tell you what. How much is one glass? Pour a little water in it, and then give me a shot of water, because I have some sort of meeting to go into anyway. Yeah, you know.
You want to?
And he kind of winks at him.
He pulls a bottle that has about a third of it left in there, and he just puts it down and puts two glasses, and he just shakes his head.
Would she even know the difference? And he kind of takes the glasses.
That's not water. I'm not pouring you water. We don't
fair
serve
enough.
water here.
Thanks, Zeus. And he kind of like shoves him off and goes over to sit down with her. Lieutenant Evo, how are you doing this evening?
Fantastic. How are you doing, Sova?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well. And do you mind if I sit down?
She, even though the chairs are mounted in this place, they cannot move them, she places her foot on the seat and spins it. So it, sit down, take a load off.
And he sits down and he says, I got you a drink. So, how you making out over there?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Good. So, So did you remember everything on the sphere? I gotta ask. You know, we were down there and you were all motionless and stuff. What was going on with that?
Oh, I remember everything. Remember standing and couldn't move anymore. Remember my whole away team getting killed. Yep. Crystal clear. Locked it up.
And Soba kind of leans back. He says, you know, I know that had to be awful. That's terrible. Starfleet officers. When I was a young Ferengi, I was on a pirate ship. And I had to take all sorts of orders. And, you know, they treated me, my father and the captain, they treated me like crap. And all I could think about was, man, I just wanted to get out of this pirate ship. That's all I could think about. And then I became the first Ferengi Starfleet officer, and I was so proud, and everything was great and grand. And then, you know, your dreams kind of down the tube there, don't they? You know, and we got to face the shit that we got to face, for good or bad. And, you know, I just really feel for you, and I know that you guys over there in the Artemis, I just can't even imagine what you guys went through. And he takes a drink, kinda. He takes a drink like a fake drink.
Roll me a fitness and security. This is like a jet cleaner that Zeus is giving you. It's just like a fuel accelerant.
Gabe's a chance here?
Sure. Actually, big fan of living.
All right, big fan of living. I'll take it. I don't even know how good. Horrible.
Yeah,
Sure.
no successes. So your eyes immediately begin to water. This is just an assault on most of your senses.
Oh, that was. Ooh, drinking the rough stuff there, Lieutenant.
She's swirling. There's maybe a finger of it left in one of her glasses as she's swirling it, and she says, you know what is surprising is that we can fly in space and we are forced to drink this. And she drinks it and puts it down.
You better take it easy there, Lieutenant.
Probably.
So what are you working on there, if you don't mind me asking?
She takes a pad and spins it over, and you see what looks to be a topographical 3D rendering of at least this area of the expanse. It's got elevations and depths and lengths, and
Is this of the galaxy? It's like
the current you can tell
itself?
you can tell because you're a pilot that this is basically a navigational chart of the local area, meaning it contains like the black hole, the sphere, your current nebula. And she just starts to spin the data pad a bit, looking for a way out, always looking for a way out.
So I gotta ask you, what's our chances of being screwed? Completely. And he kind of goes completely. He's like, this is like a concern in his own voice.
You're a betting man, right, Soba?
I am.
We got
Only
about
if I can win. Only if I can win, though. And he kind of smiles.
Then don't bet on this game. 1 in 1,000.
1 in 1,000? That can't be right.
It's probably worse.
Ooh. In this area alone, or can we go that you know, maybe somewhere else? Is there any possibility there?
I don't know.
Okay. So are you going to be ready for this meeting, Paul?
How much time? She looks down at one of the pads and spins it back around to look at her, the face her orient itself the correct way. She said, I have 2 hours. I'll be perfect.
Hold on. And he goes over to the replicator. Replicator, computer, water, a gallon of it.
And you have a pitcher, and it's not filled though. And the computer says, state temperature.
32 degrees, or 30, whatever Celsius would be in, Star Trek. Cold.
It fills up with cold water.
Yes, and he takes it over to her. Lieutenant, I know that you have been through a lot, but I would strongly suggest you drink a cup of water, and he pours her a glass. Just to get you hydrated. You humans, you have a different, she's not human, she's Betazoid.
Betazoid.
You Betazoids, you need a little bit of water to keep your mind right. But I'll tell you, you're a very strong person, and I really respect how you've done things.
She looks at you and her eyes narrow, and she kind of bites the inside of her cheek.
He gives her a little smile.
Yeah. Still don't like Ferengi. You're okay, Soba, but...
Can't win them all, right? As I said. I'm not big on the Betazoids either. Yeah.
Potato.
Right. Whatever that is. A potato.
Right. She is hanging on at this point.
He's trying to get her water because he knows...
She drinks it.
He knows Lieutenant Commander has given him some sort of important mission, and he's trying to hydrate her and get her straight. He wants to keep her talking, kind of.
Okay, I tell you what. Here's how we're going to play this. We're going to do this mechanically. If you want to roll I want you to roll a command and presence here. And with a command and presence, and if you stick with Lieutenant Evo, you might be able to pull her out of this by the time for the meeting. She doesn't seem like she's particularly ready to stop drinking, though.
Okay.
I don't know if you have any experience with that, my friend, but where someone's trying to stop the night, but...
I don't.
I do. I'm here to tell you that I do.
You're talking about me.
We're gonna try to PAX.
Okay. So you're saying command and presence, correct?
Command and presence, my friend, yes.
I'm trying to think about what he could get her to talk about. He starts asking her about Starfleet. He wants her to start talking about her career. Like, hey, what made you just, I as a first Ferengi, I knew that, Starfleet was, I thought it would be for me. I just wanted the respect and all that. What made you really start thinking about that? And he tries his best here. No success.
She just kind of shrugs, as if the topic itself it doesn't interest her enough to kind of get into. I mean, she's pleasant. She's not being rude to you by any stretch of the imagination.
She wants to drink.
She just wants to drink. Yeah, she's thinking that maybe she's found someone to drink with, but you're presenting water, so she's like humoring you a bit. But I'll say this. If we'll have one more of those command and presence rolls, and if Soba stays with her the whole time, that would help her not to drink, if that's your ultimate goal.
Can I use a determination here?
Sure.
How about always an outsider? Can he take that kind of stance with her, where he's trying to like pity her into something? Like a pity. He's probably used the pity card a bunch.
What's your direct approach as always an outsider? How are you presenting this to her?
well, she's seen her old crew die. She's probably very sad, and she's taking out in drinking form. And he's trying to tug at some emotions on her. You know what I mean? Maybe even make her sad if he can. You know, he's kind of trying to instill anything where she feels alone. You know, but he wants to like say, hey, I'm here for you. You have a friend here. The captain cares about, you know, he'll lie to her and tell her that the whole crew cares about her and whatever she wants to hear. You know, he'll lie completely to her in every way, shape, and form.
Okay. I like that Soba thinks that that's a lie. Roll me another command.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care how he doesn't.
Okay, roll me a command and presence. She can't read your emotions because you're Ferengi. And then go ahead and we'll add, you already have a determination of 2 successes. So we'll see how many successes you get here.
Oh my God.
A success and a complication. So here's how we're going to play it.
Sure.
She kind of buys this outsider thing, but she immediately turns it a bit and folds it in on you. And here's the compromise that she makes. That she will drink water every time you drink from her bottle.
Why not? He kind of smiles and says, sure. I mean, you can see like sweat begins to pour down his like temple.
His lobes begin to glisten.
Yeah.
Right. Roll me a fitness and security to see how well you handle this, and we're going to med bay here in 1 minute.
Gabe's a chance.
Oh yeah, I'll take Gabe's a chance here.
And he begins to talk about his bravado, how great he was. Did she see him on the sphere and how brave he was?
No, because she was frozen in place after her whole away team died.
She was awake for me, like God and stuff. What is it again? Fitness?
Fitness and security. Those are your constitution and strength modifiers for this. So.
I want to make sure. I got it. I've got this right.
No successes with the complication.
I'm sorry.
So, we're going to take this from Zeus's point of view as we pull away from Olympus.
He is hammered.
And as Zeus looks over, his eyes begin to widen above the white beard and gray skin that he has as he sees that, true to her word, Lieutenant Evo is not drinking anymore. She's drinking water, but she's drinking a lot of water because she's loving what's happening. And as she sobers, as she's going down, Soba's going up. So, Soba, you are going to be wrecked to the point where we're going to have to double any successes that you make on social rolls from this point forward.
Soba starts going, is it getting hot in here? And he starts like unbuttoning.
So Soba's got like the full-on 70s V down to his Ferengi pecs.
Yep.
Okay. Here's what we're going to say, though. Because of this little incident, anytime you're around Virilla Evo and it is a social situation that involves communications between the two of you, you immediately get a +1 to your die roll. You get a reduction of the successes needed by 1. You have created a friend in Virilla Evo.
Cool.
Medbay. Who gets there first?
You do.
You go first.
You go first. You get there first.
You
I was doing stuff. You weren't doing anything. You went straight there.
I talked to Soba. I was very busy.
Took like 1 minute maybe.
Did it though?
Captain, you walk in first, and as you go in, you see that unfortunately sickbay is a pretty happening place, and that several of the cargo rooms to the in the same deck have been conscripted into triage centers. They're made for that. in the event that there is mass casualties or some type of planet-side trauma or natural disaster, these nearby cargo bays on the med bay deck level easily convert over into triage. They already have, med scanners and stuff inset into the walls, but a lot of the people that have been brought in here are kind of spread out among these additional areas of care. However, in the main med bay, you will find that Revo is in there. He is sitting. You can see that there are different plastic applications on his left side. He has a tube that is both going up his nose and one that seems to be coiled around his ear. His earring is still on, but everything else, he seems to be kind of like, you can't tell. He has a haze in his eyes. He seems awake though. You also see Khan, and Khan is like bare-chested from the waist up. He's got a terrible burn across his chest that is currently being swept over with one of the rays and one of the applicators that the doctor has as flesh is being mended from the electrical burn that he received. He is unconscious. His eyes are not open, and by the readouts surrounding, he is indeed unconscious. He's not pretending to be or anything of that nature. And then you see Dr. Lake Alcott. He is wearing civilian scrubs. He is not in uniform.
Well, I hate to jerk us around like this, but she walks in and sees how much is going on and is literally just going to turn around and leave.
Okay. No, I mean, a few people are like, and then you turn around and are gone, and they're like,
yep, bye.
Lake never turned.
Good.
Okay, so
Bye.
As the Captain Locke walks out around the corner, from the other corner in turbo lift comes Nat.
Yeah, she goes into med bay.
Sick bay is yours. The description is the same.
Great. She walks over to Revo.
You see that one of his eyes has a plastic, almost like a piece of plastic wrap over it. By the purpling, you can tell that whatever he was hit with went right through his suit. And he's probably, what isn't broken is in the process of being mended. But if the bruising is any indication, he had a lot of things broken. On the left, the whole left side of his body seems to have this kind of secondary, illusory plastic wrap and skin over top of it. You would know it to be a healing application to help reset the bones. But one of his eyes, the one that's not shielded, peeks open and sees you, and he says, a bit muffled, but, "Go away, I'm dying."
You wanna die alone?
I'm already dead, I think. I still have to talk, which is the worst, so I must be in hell.
What was that you were saying about how you could take me in a fight?
You're gonna have to give me about 15 minutes, and then I should be all right.
Okay. I think you couldn't even beat me at Thumb Wars right now.
I can't beat you in conversation. I agree. And his eye looks up and he gives a really weak wink.
Are you winking or are you blinking?
You can't tell it's a wink, but it's supposed to be coy. I was going to say
highly against protocol. And
well, you should write me up, but I'm already dead, so you can you can send it to my corpse. Care of who gives a shit. That's the drugs talking.
Dr. Alcott.
Lake turns and looks over. Yes, Lieutenant Commander.
How long's he in for?
Revo should be off of his, well, most of his machines tomorrow. Day after for rest, 3 days back on duty.
Does that sound right to you, Ensign?
No, I'm dead, so I would appreciate that all of my effects be forwarded to the charity of your choice. They could probably use smut and guns. What?
That's what I thought it would be. I'll send it to what Angry Bajoran's army.
Yes.
There.
They're anxiously awaiting my contributions.
If we were to push it, Dr. Alcott, what's the soonest he could be up?
Without a day of rest, 36 hours?
Does that sound doable to you, Ensign?
Yes, I'll be alive in 36 hours.
Good, because you've been promoted.
Bullshit. I mean, what?
Try again.
I'm sorry, sir. What did you say?
You've been promoted. I'm sorry to tell you this, but you'll be working a lot more with Ensign Soba.
What did I do to you? What did I...
You sassed me one too many times. I had to put you in your place.
His one eye that's visible kind of rolls. Doc, is there any way that I still couldn't pull through? And Lake looks, I'm afraid you're gonna make it. Oh no. All right. And he looks up, and you can tell that he winks. Thank you, Lieutenant Commander.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird being dead.
Is it? What did you expect?
I really don't know. I expected it to be a lot hotter. I'm chilly.
Do you have a blanket or something, Doc?
He walks over and slides 2 panels up, and you can see that the coils on the exterior of the bed turn from like a light blue to kind of a light pink. That's a ticket.
There.
Thanks.
Are you comfy now? This more comfortable for you?
Oh, that's my pillow now. If only I could find someone to fluff it. But oh well, such is the life of a space cowboy.
Ugh, no. No. Absolutely not.
You could call me Maurice.
I don't know that reference. I'm not human. Neither are you.
You can still appreciate fine music.
Can you, though?
You can.
Mm-hmm. She totally fluffs his pillow, but she, does it aggressively. She's not good at it.
Ow, 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 ow. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Lieutenant Commander.
You did okay. I give you a solid B-.
I got knocked on my ass and a Ferengi saved me. Take that down to a C-.
I was being kind. It's not a good look on me.
Yeah. Lieutenant Commander. He, as much as he can with his right hand that's free, he kind of motions you down to, and you see the eye clear for a moment as he locks it with yours. I'm watching him. And he goes back and looks at Khan.
She smiles and really, God, this is so not Nat. She ruffles his hair and then realizes how weird that is and leaves.
He doesn't think anything of it, but you can see now that the eye that's not covered by that plastic sheeting stays locked on Khan. All right, friends. We're almost at the end of our session, but I certainly would like to begin our briefing that will extend into the next session. So we're going to cut, unless there's anything anybody else needs to do. Yes.
One final thing.
Absolutely.
As Quinn has grabbed a bite to eat and relaxed a little bit, as she's on her way to the briefing, she's got a pad and is kind of knocking out a to-do list. These are regular maintenance items that just sort of stack up in intense situations, but that nevertheless need to be dealt with. And so rather than have anybody else do it on their off shift, she's going to do it herself. And one of those is reviewing new data that's not scientific or tactical data that's been added to the computer's database. And as she does, she's kind of flipping through and notices a couple of holodeck programs that look unfamiliar to her. And Greg, I'm assuming that as the chief engineer, that she has anything that's not, actually classified, she'd have access to here.
You would the holodecks, because of what has been called the his name is the Moriarty protocols. There is a very stringent list of holodeck protocols that must be followed aboard every Federation ship to avoid, sentient life happening.
The Moriarty protocols is like the coolest thing you've added to this canon so far, and I'm profoundly impressed. From one Trekkie to another, I'm deeply impressed by that.
Thank you.
So she quickly calls up these programs, and she's just kind of paging through code and notices something about both of them. One program that was created by Ensign Soba, and another one created by Lieutenant Jabez. And all this happens while she's walking to the meeting room, and she's just kind of, as she steps off of the holodeck, as she steps off of the God damn it, what do we call them? Elevators.
Turbo lifts.
Turbo lifts, that's it, thank you, onto deck one. And just as she steps into the briefing room, she hits close on it and looks up to see who else is there.
We'll say that you don't arrive fashionably late, you're still early, but just to allow everybody else a chance to place, everyone is here. Is there anyone other than Varilla Evo, and Chief Brahanu is also here because she was part of the away team? Ensign Revo cannot attend, but if there's anybody else you would like to be in this room for this meeting, let me know. Also, somebody somewhere smells a lot like alcohol. But that's just your first impression of the meeting room.
I mean, it would be pretty apparent that Soba's trashed, right?
I am going to give our Ferengi the benefit of the doubt simply because he's a pilot, that he is able to keep himself level, but there's something severely off about Soba. And that has nothing to do with what is being vocalized or being said. I'll allow that RP to Steve. But because he has a complication, I'm allowed to say that his gait is completely different. It's like whenever you, if for those, hi kids, for those crazy kids that would come home and try to act sober around their parents before they went, and they put on a completely different walk. Well, that's what Soba's doing. Soba's got a completely different walk.
A drunk person's impression of a sober person?
Yes, a drunk person's impression of a walk. It's more of a march or even a sachet.
Gotta look confident.
Once again, Nat thinks very loudly, God, I miss my old ship.
Soba comes in and like, as everybody's sitting down, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
He like looks at the chair like, yeah. And he kind of like, like he's cool, but he's not.
We know.
Yeah, we're very familiar with that.
Easy.
Love you, Steve.
I think this is it. Do we want anybody else here?
I don't think so.
Anybody
think
from
so.
Artemis? Anybody else from Artemis?
I don't trust those people.
Oh my god.
Wouldn't our ship's doctor typically be present for a senior staff meeting?
I don't see why.
Did you
Okay.
did you
Did you invite him?
Why would he need to be here? What does he possibly have to offer?
I mean, he could give us an update on Khan and Revo. So
Okay. Yeah.
That's something.
if you invited him, Dr. Alcott did not show up.
Oh my god, he is the literal worst.
Okay. Did we invite him or not?
I wouldn't have.
I mean, with injured crew members and so forth,
He's busy.
realistically, somebody from his department would certainly be present.
Someone
Well,
competent.
If he didn't show up, I'm going to get him.
Oh, now you're going?
Now I'm going. Yeah. Well, now I have a reason.
So,
That's professional.
Fine. I say we didn't invite him.
I want to go. So I say
know
that we
you do.
Now you've done it.
You left.
Okay. So as everybody gets hold on a second, and Captain Locke leaves, we'll follow her. We'll take the steady cam and follow her down to sick bay. As it opens up, it's explained before, Revo's still staring with one eye at Khan. Khan is still out. There's still security personnel in there, wounded, and a scrub-wearing Dr. Alcott.
walk up to him and just stand there. Very Nat. Don't say anything.
Nice. You're learning.
Captain?
What are you wearing?
This is what a doctor wears.
Where's your uniform?
I'm resigning my commission.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
I will still act as your doctor. I will still do all of the duties associated with my craft and trade, but for the ship, that's where it should end.
Because you made a mistake.
And he looks for a moment as if he's embarrassed to continue, but then he doesn't shrug, he just does continue. No, it was more than a mistake, it was a warning.
What do you mean?
If I tried to do that again, be in that chair, I'd get everyone in here killed. I took an oath before I took an oath to be a Starfleet officer. Do no harm.
It wasn't. It was my mistake first.
Then I corrected both of our mistakes. I'm sorry, Captain.
Me too. You should still come to the meeting.
I do my best work here. if you need anything, I can send up the information until we can maybe get somebody more acclimated to help with the senior staff briefings. I'll get to work on that soon. Hand over the information. But I'll continue to walk the ward here and help anybody that needs my help.
She just nods and goes back to the briefing room.
As you walk into the briefing room, Lieutenant Varilla Evo stands up, walks solidly over to a hollow readout along the wall, and she taps her data pad, and a 3D rendering of what she has extrapolated using the portrait and from the known explorations and paths of the Artemis, the expanse explodes in 3D all around her. She looks at all of you and says, "Here's how we get out." And that's where we'll end this episode of Star Trek Continuing Mission. Yay!
Soba throws up.
Soba vomits.
That seems to be the Athena's odor.
It's the go-to move. All right, fantastic, my friends. Let's go over to Lauren. Lauren, how are you, and how are you doing tonight?
I'm weird. I'm Lauren. I'm that salty ginger over on Twitter. See you
Fantastic.
tomorrow.
Fantastic. Let's drop down to Steve. Steve, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I had a good time tonight. I will looking forward to tomorrow. I finally get to play tomorrow. A completely different character, so get ready for that. And thanks for tonight. I had fun.
Fantastic, buddy. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Brillin. I appreciate it very much. And let's go over to my friend Allison. Allison, how are you?
Loved it. Great. We've needed an episode where I didn't roll a single roll. Just saying. I love that. Great stuff. Hey, I'm Allison. You can learn about all of the various and sundry role-playing things I'm doing at my Twitter, at Allison Robinson with 2 L's and a Y. Check out the pinned tweet. And come back here tomorrow. Couple of great shows here. I will pitch our Urban Shadows campaign, Bad Moon Rising, in the city of New Acadia. Think New Orleans, only more Fae. Is that even possible? I think it is. And Lauren's running the show over there, and Greg's part of that game. Fantastic stuff in our second season, and loving every second. So catch us here after the big game, which I'm sure Greg's going to pitch before it's all over tonight. Thanks, crew. So much fun playing with y'all.
Thank you, Allison. Over to Hawk. Hawk, how are you doing this evening, my friend?
Oh, doing fine. Had some fun catching up with Delilah and having some holosuite time to reveal a little bit something about Jabez that he's been hiding from everybody. Otherwise, Tuesday nights, I've got my usual Lego game stream going. Then later on in the evening, I will be on Fellowship of the Tables, where we're doing Rise of the Rune Lords, a Pathfinder module that's been converted. The DM is converted to 5th edition D&D. Wednesday nights will be the first episode, second season of Dungeons and Deductibles, where we're a bunch of adventurers who work for Waterdavian Farm, an insurance firm in Waterdeep. That'll be on variant roles on Tuesday. Thursday is my weekly Skyrim serial, where we're doing the Dark Thalmor. And then Saturday nights is Saving Throw Wrestling, where different DMs, GMs, and RPG players from across Twitch take it out inside the dice tray, our custom wrestling universe using WWE 2K19. So other than that, and recovering from a big, long professional conference, so good. I don't think we can go any further without expressing prayers and condolences to the family of Aaron Eisenberg. He was the actor who played Nog in Deep Space Nine, the true first Ferengi to enter Starfleet, who sadly died earlier today. So our thoughts, prayers, and condolences are with his family.
Well said, my friend. Well said. Summer, how are you doing?
I sad. No, I'm doing great. This show is always so much fun. I genuinely cried with Soba just being Soba. So it was so Soba. Yeah, I am Summer. You can find me on the internet at Just a Summer Job. It's my Twitter. The only thing I'm going to plug is if you like Urban Shadows, we have 2 Urban Shadows podcasts coming out here in the next week. The first one, Cape Lorelei, comes out tomorrow. I am really, really excited for these. A lot of work has gone into these. So if you have a second and you want to check it out, you can go ahead and subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud. Just Cape Lorelei, and you will find it. But this is awesome. I love this crew so much. Can't wait for next time.
Fantastic, my friend. And everybody, absolutely. Podcasts, Urban Shadows, Summer. That is a winning combination. As for me, I am Grimjack21502 on the Twitter, part of the Tales from the Grim team here on the Twitch. We have a lot of aforementioned things that are coming up. We have Bad Moon Rising tomorrow at 9, May Black Roses Bloom Wednesday at 8. A lot of fun things coming up with our community event game should be beginning pretty soon on Friday afternoons. But I am going to pitch that tomorrow night we have the first official episode of The Realms Remembered, where the entire cast, where we've got Lauren and Summer and Steve and Billy and Dawn all get together and we meet all their characters at once. I throw them into the sandbox that is my version of the Forgotten Realms mixed with Boz Luhrmann. We listen to some fun music and we figure out an adventure. Let's tell a tale tomorrow, much like we did tonight. But that's all I have, everybody. And as the campfire goes down, there's only one thing left to say. You can't always roll nat 20s, but you can always role play. Thank you all for being here, Legion. You are the very best. We'll see you next time, friends.